Live.
Remember what you have to do for Facebook.
Bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum bum ba-dum button down bum 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 ba-dum bum 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 ba-da-da-dum bum ba-dum da-da-da. Dun, 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 bum, ba, da, dun, 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 dun. Hello, everyone. Hi, hi. I see Jaylyn and Vicky and Kathy and Dallas, Texas, and Middle Tennessee, Hamilton, Ontario, San Antonio, Texas, Southwestern Michigan. Happy Labor Day to all. Newberry, Ohio. That's just wonderful. Love to see you all here. Those are my mighties. Hi, Holy Cross. And South Carolina and Spokane, Washington, and Ontario again. Very nice. Love it. Colorado. Hi, North Dakota, Maryland, Panama, Florida, watching from Florida Panhandle, Arkansas, Syracuse, not far from me now, Tempe, Arizona, Indiana. Love it. Hello, everyone. I love to see everyone join me every week. It's gorgeous. Hi, Darylyn and the whole crew. Wonderful to see you out. So, hi, how are you? You're looking great on this Labor Day weekend and Labor Day. It's a wonderful thing to see everyone. And if you're new here and you don't know me, my name is Joette Calabrese and I'm a homeopath. And I'm here to teach you every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I love teaching homeopathy. And in fact, if you're at all interested, for those who are interested, we're just ready to close up our admissions for my academy, which we've just launched in the last couple of days. So if you haven't gotten your application in, now is the time to do it. I would urge you to do that right away because we've taken the first group and now we're on the second group. And we are fast filling up the classes. So it's very exciting. It's all virtual. So in a way, it doesn't matter so much, but we did set it up with our IT person to have only a certain number of seats. We may have to expand that a little bit, but I'm hoping that we get a nice, tidy group. And if you're not interested in studying practical homeopathy with me on that level, then we have classes, feminopathy, which I teach about how to treat women's issues, girls and women's issues, and good gut, bad gut, in which I teach how to use homeopathy for the gastrointestinal system, and skin the ugly truth, the remedies that are specific for, et cetera, et cetera. So we have a lot of those. And then I'm going down the ladder of cost and commitment. And then the next level down, should you be interested, are my gateway groups. And those are the online groups who meet for 8 weeks. And sometimes they go on for a second round with the next level, Gateway 1 and Gateway 2. And they learn together from groups of people from all over the world. That, as my friends, is the most inexpensive and noteworthy way of learning homeopathy, in my estimation, even if you've been using it a while, because the way I teach homeopathy is different than what you've learned. I can guarantee it. I absolutely guarantee it. So the way I teach homeopathy is much faster, quicker, beautiful results, lots of data behind this method. And so that's a great way to learn homeopathy. But then now let's say that there's my old dog barking away. I'm hoping that's Buster. Okay. Now let's say you're not interested in even joining a group, and instead what you want to do is get online and just read my blog and listen to my podcast. And there's 13 plus years of that kind of information where you can learn plenty without ever spending a dime. And that's exactly the idea. Truly, it is exactly the idea. And even though I teach you on my blog and podcasts which medicine to use, and I suggest that you go to this or that place because we link, there is no affiliate program. I do not get any kickback for what I teach from pharmacies or manufacturers. The products that I discuss are because I believe in the products. I never, ever do kickbacks or affiliation programs. It's just not, I think it's the wrong message. And so I don't like that modern medicine has done that. And I don't like that other people do that. And so I've decided long ago I was not going to be affiliated with affiliations. And so you can count on it being pure. In other words, when I give you information, it is the information that I believe in, that I know to work through what I've done and what I've used for many years, as well as the doctor's Banerjee, where I learned a good deal of my information. Not all of it, but a good deal of it. So tonight was kind of vague. I realize that. But you are a sophisticated group. I know that. And so you know what I mean when I say central nervous system disorders as a result of, you fill in the blank. You know what I mean, right? I'm reading what I wrote to encourage you to come tonight. Let me teach you what to choose that can offer a great benefit should something cause someone to have something related to the central nervous system. And I have to tell you that the reason that I left it so vague is because is a couple of reasons. One is because I have to be careful what I say, as you well know. Alternative medicine is being heartily censored at best and attacked at worst. And so I have to be very careful. But I also want to make a point. And my point is, if you get something, if you have a medical technique used on you, or you use a drug, or you have an injury, or something happens, something from the outside, something extrinsic happens, and it comes in when it comes in and it makes a change in your system. Sometimes it really doesn't matter, not always, but sometimes it really doesn't matter what the etiology is, what the cause was. It is what it is. If someone has a central nervous system disorder as a result of taking a drug, we're going to look at the symptoms. We're going to look at what the central nervous system is doing. Is it convulsions? Is it fainting? Is it chorea? So we're looking at what is happening. And then we use the medicine that is specific for that, whether it's from something that was given to you against your will, something that was given to you and you knew what it was, but you didn't realize how dangerous it could be, whether it was something that happened to you on the street in an automobile accident, whether it was from a disease, something that was that you contracted. Can it be useful to know what the etiology is? It can be, but not always. It's not always necessary. So that's my first point. My second point is humanity has gone through a lot since the time of our beginnings. Lots of sufferings, lots of diseases, lots of concerns, lots of pestilence. And I actually don't believe, when I really distill this down, that these times are that much different. So, and in the last 200 some years, homeopathy has come to the rescue for those who have known enough to use it, who have known about it and have known what to use. And so, my friends, regardless of what comes to pass, whatever that might be, that might make you or your family member sick, I believe that we can most likely count on our medicine to act. Even in spite of the depth and breadth of the condition, the depth and breadth of the cause, the etiology, what is truly behind it. What I want you to do is to be clear that you know what you can use. And that homeopathy, and it's not the only thing, prayer, I think is very powerful. Good nutrition, sunshine, movement, doing chores, cleaning the house, chasing after the kids, doing what needs to be done in your life. Having a purposeful life is very important. So let's talk about if something were to occur that would affect the central nervous system, such as convulsions or chorea, as I said, or fainting. What would we use? So one of the medicines that I've taught so far, because we've been going through my Materia Medica, and I'm going to show it to you for those of you who are not familiar with what we're doing. This is my Materia Medica, and what it is an anthology of homeopathic medicines that are well known. So I'm going to be looking at cocculus, Cocculus. And when we were in the C's, I taught you about cocculus. But I've given cocculus more thought recently, and that is because of the kinds of reports that people are making regarding an extrinsic event that has caused convulsions, central nervous system disorders, etc. And so I think cocculus is a very, very good choice. It is a great medicine for central nervous system disorders, and it also happens to be a good medicine for when something from the outside comes in, and what occurs is a central nervous system condition. So cocculus, it's Cocculus indicus, Cocculus, again, cocculus. The beauty of homeopathy, as you well know, is that it's always in Latin. These medicines are not made up industry medicines. They're not medicines to try to grab your attention. They are what they are. And it's made from Indian cockle, and it's very good for central nervous system disorders that occur as a result of stress, such as night watching. So if you're taking care of a loved one who's very sick in the night and you are up, or even if it's not the night, you're taking care of a loved one and it's affecting you, it's affecting your central nervous system, we would consider cocculus. And we would use it in probably a 30 or a 200 potency, maybe twice a day. Or if something that was extrinsic came into the body and caused a collapse or a reaction that was very central nervous system oriented, then we would also consider this medicine. Now, Mindy says, I dreamed of cocculus. I've been reading about it for the last 2 days. It's an excellent medicine. I'm happy if you have my Materia Medica, but go further, folks. Really read up on that medicine. I don't go into great detail in my Materia Medica. I put it together so that you could have something that you could quickly go to in an overall view without getting too complicated. Okay, so that's not the only medicine that we think of when there's been an assault on the system, whether it's central nervous system or not, that is related to something that might come in and cause trouble that is unnatural. And that medicine is Thuja, Thuja, Thuja occidentalis. Now, I'm not going to go into it deeply. Instead, so that you have a good feel for what I'm talking about, look it up. Look it up in my Materia Medica. If you don't have it, again, go online. Dr. James Tyler Kent's Materia Medica is online. I think there's another one. Boricke, was it Boricke? Boericke, Boricke, I think has one that's online that's free. But read up homeopathic Materia Medica and then look up the word Thuja, Thuja, Thuja occidentalis. The J is silent. Some people pronounce it Thuja. And an example of something intrinsic coming into the body. If you read Thuja, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm being vague. I realize that, but I'm doing it for a specific reason. And if you look up Thuja, you will know exactly what I'm trying to tell you today. Okay? So these medicines can actually be used before that onslaught, such as the day before, the day of, the day after, for 10 days or so. And so it is something that can help antidote the ill effects of one of these extrinsic events. Let's see if people are catching on. I see that you are. You are one mighty bunch, you Joette's mighty members. Love you. Let's see. For an attack of the system from something, but not that's not natural. Thank you for saying that. It's very specific. It's not just anything that's not natural. It's a specific kind of thing. Okay, let's just see if we can keep going. Yes, understand fully, says Rose. Yep, says Leslie. Regina, my dog is taking Thuja, recommended by my holistic vet. My guess is your vet knows what he or she's talking about. Yep. Got it. This is very good. It can be a prevention. Yes, absolutely. It can be a prevention for events. I'm probably still going to be censored, but I can't resist. You know, it's interesting. I just interviewed for my academy. I've been interviewing homeopaths, and I just interviewed Dr. Robert. I call him Roberto because that's his real name. Dr. Roberto Mello, who is the CEO, medical doctor, who owns and runs OHM Pharma. And I asked him why he went into doing what he's doing, building a pharmacy, homeopathic pharmacy. And his answer is exactly like the kind of answer that I would give if someone interviewed me and asked me that question. And that is because once you learn about this medicine and you know it, you have no choice. You must get it out. You must send it along. This medicine needs to be known by everyone. This medicine needs to be used by everyone. This is the stuff we all thought we were getting when we used to go to the doctor many years ago. Yeah, it is crazy that we need to speak in vagueness. But you know what, Dolly? It is crazy. It's evil as far as I'm concerned. But it binds us. This binds us. Don't you feel linked by the fact that we are sharing information that we need to give to each other and that this is important, so important that we can't keep quiet about it? That's the way I feel about it. I want the world to know about this. I want you to know about it. I want you to know how great these medicines are. I want you to study calculus, and I want you to study Thuja occidentalis. Study these two, okay, folks? Do me that favor. There's one more that I would like to talk to you about that occurs when that occurs after an extrinsic event that causes fainting and weakness. And that's silica. Some people pronounce it silicea because, of course, it's Latin, and we also pronounce it in English as well. So silicea of Latin and silica in English. Read those 3 medicines, my dear ones. I mean it. Very, very important. And so what would I do? I would use the second one, Thuya, just because the event is about to occur, has occurred today, and has occurred over the last occurred several days ago. I would just automatically. Now, however, those other 2, cocculus and silica, which we can put kind of like a sandwich here, are specific for if an event occurs, if a problem happens, if something in the central nervous system goes off and the person is fainting or anything else that's central. Just think, what is central nervous system? What could happen? Eyes rolling into the back of the head. Chorea. Look up chorea if you don't know what it is. Chorea. Convulsions, seizures, those kinds of things. Does it have to be right after an event? No. It could be a week later. Could be a month later. Could be 2 months later. Could be many months later. More often, it's going to happen within the first month or 2, but could be many months later. So I tell folks to do this. Put together a timeline of your health conditions and the events in your life. So let's say we're putting together a timeline of a child. The mother had an uneventful pregnancy, so there's nothing to put on this timeline because we're only going to record those issues that could be detrimental to health. So the baby's born, you put the date, you've got a line. You're actually drawing a line in pencil, mind you, nice long sheet in pencil. Okay, first thing, circumcision, put that in there. First vaccine, put that in there. Antibiotics in the eyes, put that in there. Separated from the mother too long, put that in there. You can even go further back. If the mother got Pitocin during labor, put that in there. Those are all events that are important for us to make note of. First ear infection, put that in there. Drug that was used, antibiotic, put it in. Eczema, put that in. Now we're at, say, 2 years old. The child's got eczema. Okay, steroid ointment, put that in there. So we are writing in all of those events that could cause trouble. And then when we look back at this child's life, we have a whole picture. Because we as humans have a tendency to forget what we have agreed to. We forget how often we've said, oh, sure, I can take that. Oh, yeah, I'll take that. Thank you. Oh, birth control pills? Sure, I'll take that pill every day for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. We don't even think of it because it becomes a part of our lives. And what I want you to do is to step outside of that and look at what happened, what we agreed to. Get an MRI, goes on the timeline. An X-ray on the timeline. Now look at what point did this child, or now say teenager, start to get sick? And then you can start piecing things together. It's a very mathematical way of looking at it, but but I also am going to caution you, be careful. Don't go too far with this. Don't blame everything on that because no, let me back off. Don't assume that just because that event happened, that this condition has occurred. However, I always start every case, unless there's a reason to think otherwise, with blaming treatments. Sorry, I blame treatments. They're ubiquitous. They're chronic. They're constant. They're more constant than we realize. So I just met with some friends last night who had a little puppy, and the puppy was, 2 years old, almost 2 years old, and he was very sick. And then today I heard that he died. But when I was talking to them last night, I asked, tell me, what was given to the dog? And they actually didn't think that there was anything given until they really gave it some thought. What do dogs get when they're puppies? Think about that. And so always look at what's coming in from the outside. There are diseases that are inborn. There are diseases that I could say perhaps are like spontaneous combustion, but not nearly as many as we think. And if you look at the timeline, and if you look at what came in that was extrinsic and how it presented, then you might find that it wasn't my bad genes that everyone blamed. It was really that event. All righty. I use these medicines in generally 30s and 200s, all three of them. I use them twice daily around that time. And I'm also going to tell you that I was just felt pretty sick. I shouldn't say pretty sick. I felt something coming on about 3 days ago in my chest. It felt like what I know to be something that I used to get when I was younger, bronchitis, lung infections. And I know that sensation very well, and I could feel it coming on. And so I don't wonder, I wonder if it's that, or if it's this, or if it's that. Instead, I go by my symptoms. I feel something coming on. It's in my chest. I automatically took Aconitum 200 with Bryonia 30. That's written on my blog. Aconitum 200 mixed with Bryonia 30. And I started to take that every 3 hours. And I felt fine within, a couple hours. And then I forgot to take it again because I wasn't reminded by feeling sick. So I said, oh, yeah, it's coming back again. Okay, take it again. So then I went back to every 3 hours. Then the next day I woke up and I felt it again, took another dose. So as long as I need it, I take it. Now today is day 3 and I've not needed it at all, so I've not taken it. So do I think to myself, oh no, I must have the dreadful, dreaded, frightening thing that's bouncing around the earth? I don't know, and I don't care. I use my medicines because I'm using them based on how I feel. And so that's a good idea, is Aconitum 200 with Bryonia 30 for a cold that's coming on, particularly if it's in the throat or the chest, maybe even the sinuses. Eupatorium is another good one that many folks are talking about. Eupatorium 200 is another one that many people are using, EUPATORUM. And then I'm on my merry way. My team and I, my husband included, and I are working day and night to put this academy together. And so I don't have time to get sick. And neither do you, because I know you're busy. I don't guess that many of you are idle unless you're sick and you're not capable of working right now. But, and that's why you're here, is to learn how to take care of this, whatever it is that you're suffering from. But I don't believe that you are an idle bunch. We don't have time, folks. We've got a life to live, haven't we? And so we just move on, and we have no fear. We don't worry, because homeopathy is a very, very capable medicine. And when I worked in the Prasanta Banerjee Homeopathic Research Foundation for those 8 years, not 8 consecutive, but 1 year after another, each time 13, 9, 10 weeks each time. And I sat next to the great Dr. Prasanta Banerjee on one year, and then the next year, part of it with the great Dr. Prateep Banerjee, my wonderful buddy. I learned that the diseases that they were seeing were nothing like what we see here. We saw leprosy. We saw tuberculosis. We saw AIDS. We saw cancer, not a little lump, but a cancer where the whole face is gone. We saw diseases that would scare the wits out of you. Hydrocephalus. I mean, not just a little hydrocephalus. I'm talking about severe hydrocephalus. Alopecia. I'm not talking about someone who has just a little hair loss. I'm talking about someone who has a young girl, for example, who has no hair at all. And then we also saw irritable bowel syndrome and food intolerances and allergies and eczema and anxiety and panic attacks and postpartum depression and chronic colds. We saw everything that happens here, but then we saw the extremes as well. And I was so struck by the confidence that the doctors had in these extreme situations, extreme diseases, because I was not accustomed to seeing them in the US. But I still had confidence. It just was striking how nonchalantly they looked at it. They were not nonchalant to their patients. They were very respectful of the patients, but they were nonchalant because they saw it all the time. And so if the Banerjees could treat leprosy, chronic malaria, tuberculosis, AIDS, don't you think we can take care of our families through anything that might be thrown our way? I think it's so. And I'm here to tell you that I have that confidence. I have the confidence that is not unlike the Banerjee type confidence for the extreme conditions and diseases that they were treating. I have confidence here in the United States that we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Learn your medicines. Study your homeopathy. Own your books. Own your medicines. Buy them and own them. You need to have these. There's nothing worse than knowing exactly what medicine to use, and then you find you don't own it. I hear it all the time. My child got a tick bite and I didn't have Leadum. Or my son got hit by a baseball and I didn't own. Oh my goodness. An explosion, it sounds like. Across the street, I know exactly who's doing that. He does that every once in a while. My child got hit by a baseball and I didn't own arnica. No. Own them, folks. That's where you want to put your money. And if we're going to invest in anything, we're going to invest in something we know works, and we're going to invest in somebody we know and we trust. Who do we know really well and that we trust? Ourselves, right? Put your money into yourself. Educate yourself. Own your medicines and learn them and know how to use the protocols that I teach or that someone else teaches. The protocols I teach they're not the only protocols out there. There are others as well. And if you can find a homeopath who's willing to share them with you, then you want those as well. And so with that, I see. Oh dear, fireworks. No, it's not fireworks. It sounds like a bomb, but it's not. It's backfire, I think. Let's see if we have any. What are the must-have in the kits? Well, if you go through, there's a lot to go through. I think I've talked about it on my blog. So if you go to my blog, you'll probably find something on what you want to own. Yes, own it, Sunny. Having a hard time finding Article 1M. You can go to, if you're a student or a client of mine, you can get it from OHM Pharma in Texas, but you can probably buy it also at Hahnemann Pharmacy, HAHNEMANN, Hahnemann Pharmacy in San Francisco area, or Washington Homeopathics in West Virginia, or Helios, HELIOS in Great Britain. So, love it. Leslie says, was ready to go to the hospital from the event until I took Gelsemium 1M. Improvement began within 8 hours. Nice job. Yeah. You're welcome, Kim. It's nice to see you here. You're welcome. All righty. Beautiful. Let's see if I can answer any quick questions. All righty. I'm going to dash off. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Read my blogs, study my podcasts, join a study group. If you're so inclined, go into my courses. If not, you will get a lot of good information from my blog. And so with that, I say God bless all of you. No fears, no worries. You will be fine. So will your relatives. You know what to do. See you next week. Bye.